Hello everyone, welcome to Futbol de Europa podcast episode 6. This is your host Bliss and alongside me is Carlos. Hello Carlos, how are you?
Good, how are you?
And also Sean. How are you, Sean?
Good.
Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me again. So today we will talk about a couple of topics starting from the Manchester derby. And that was something Sean would love to talk about today.
I don't know how one can be happy and sad at the same time. On one hand, I would have preferred Man United to have won. On the other, this means that Man City have a quite straightforward task heading into the title. Hopefully they head into the title. I mean, looking at the upcoming matches for Burnley, they're playing Burnley next, and then after that they have Leicester City, and wrapping it up with Brighton. So I think that hopefully those other three teams. I mean, Leicester is a good team in and of itself. It's going to be tough for them, but hopefully they can just keep it up and win the next three. Don't bottle it like Spurs do, and not give Liverpool the title.
It's not Champions League, so it's pretty clear that Manchester City will win all these games. How do you...
It was I think United played better in the first half, like compared to the previous games. But not that much better, and I feel City was not that good. Obviously, second half they got annihilated. But yeah, like you said, it's pretty much a straightforward. I would say Burnley's also a slightly tough game, but I would expect them to win. Yeah, and sad for Liverpool. No, they'll potentially reach 97 points and still lose the league.
I don't care.
Yeah, it's kind of like that LaLiga season when Real Madrid won the league with 100 points and Barcelona held like close to that number, like 95 or something, like 92 points something. So, who are Liverpool facing in the next three games?
Liverpool will be facing their last two games. They'll be facing Newcastle, and they'll be facing Wolves, which might prove interesting because
even
Wolves
Newcastle
have been really great this season.
Yeah.
I mean, Newcastle, they're not sitting great in terms of the table, but let's be honest, they've been doing
fantastic.
They've been doing all right.
Rafa would do them a favor, I think.
Yeah, Rafa might do them a favor. Forgot he's there.
But is that really a favor because they have already lost? Kind of lost. Like, it's not in their hands.
It's not in their hands, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's for a Manchester United fan, it's interesting that in the first half you play good and in the second half you lose. So, eventually you are happy that, you played well and then you lost so that Liverpool don't win the league.
I think that I only watched the highlights, but I think that they did play well in the first half. I think there were promises of what was to come for next season. At the same time, I think it's been a pretty consistent thing even ever since Solskjaer took over. It's just that they don't seem to have this, like, they don't seem to be able to keep up with like what the game plan is after like 50, 60 minutes. I don't know. I seem to feel that way. They seem to be, even since Solskjaer took over with all the wins across the board and then all this losing streak as well. But I feel that it's this just goes to show that it wasn't so much the manager's fault as much as the players also have to take responsibility for what's happening right now. And I mean, Gary Neville put it really succinctly into his comments, that video that day. And I mean, Also, as well, Solskjaer saying that the players have to be responsible and that they have to be there's some players who won't be in the plans for next season, and I think that's really really important to know that everyone's expandable at the end of the day. Not even Pogba's not going to get away from it. But I think that overall, the team actually is pretty good, except with a little bit of it's a bit rough around the edges, some of the players. But overall, I'm just looking forward to next season. This season, I'm writing off this season for me as a supporter. So yeah.
Yeah, Carlos can feel you, of course, and even I till some extent. And it's interesting that Liverpool are going to face Barcelona twice before facing Newcastle and Wolves. So do you see them winning all 4 games? They will slip at least in one of them, and that might be crucial for the season because they might end trophyless.
I think stylistically Liverpool are favourites against Barcelona. Like from like a minute advantage they have from a style point of view, the kind of way they play is the best way to play against Barcelona.
Yep,
I think so.
Yep.
But obviously Messi is the factor that that almost negates it. So that's interesting to see. I think we will see a rotation in Liverpool's squad over the next couple of games, and I think right now it will be a psychological test more so because they know that they need to win every game in EPL, and still they could lose the EPL. But in terms of UCL, they could actually win it. So I think it's more of a psychological test, both for the manager and the players, how they approach it. Like whether they approach it one game at a time, whether they approach it with some sort of future planning and stuff like that. So I don't see them winning all 4 games, but to be fair, they don't need to win the games against Barcelona, both of them. It could be a scenario where they draw one, they win one, or even they basically win off penalties. So I don't think they'll win all 4 games, for sure. But they could advance. They could win both the.
They could draw in both the legs and still win on away goals. Yep. So yeah. But still, that will affect the confidence for the EPL also, because it's a bit of hectic schedule, and Newcastle and Wolves aren't really that poor sides to be underrated or stuff. And
I'm just coming back into the derby, since you mentioned about Gary Neville's comments.
Roy Keane.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about Roy Keane's comments also. So I found that conversation that both Roy Keane and Gary Neville had was quite interesting. Roy Keane was pretty balls on, hands on to the face that the players were pretty poor, and like you mentioned, it's not just the manager's fault. The players did not do their best, and not only that, I think the players had a part in getting Jose Mourinho sacked. I would also say Jose Mourinho himself had a part in getting himself sacked, but obviously the players did not help the cause, or did not want to play for the manager. They did not really play for for the badge, I would say. Roy Keane was like, this was going to happen again to Solskjaer sometime soon. So that's kind of interesting, I would say, compared to how Gary Neville felt like there was more effort put, and he claimed to say that Fred did not have the legs to push up onto Bernardo Silva for the first goal, and that's why, which I think didn't make that much sense, because they had a good first half and the goal was scored on the 50th minute. So it can't be like they're so tired so much because of the way City plays or the intense pressing that they have. And City did not really play that good in the first half. Like, as much as I felt Manchester United did play okay, it had a lot to do with the fact that City did not play their usual game. Only after the break is when they stepped up the intensity a little more. So yeah, I agree with Roy's comments that generally in the whole Jose Mourinho sacking thing, people, while I did believe that he needed to go because of various other reasons, I just don't think that that he was the reason that sole reason that they failed. It has a lot to do with other stuff, and also a lot of what he said is true. Like, he did not. What he wanted in the transfer window did not happen. That has a lot to do with the fact that they are losing, and basically by not giving him what he wanted at that point of time, you're just delaying by 12 months the problem that your team has. So I found, like I mentioned this before, Ed Woodward, kind of, his decision was weird. If you were going to extend his contract last year, then you should have backed him up. Or else you should never have extended his contract and sacked him at the end of last year. So I still don't understand what his thought process was there. And probably it shows where he is more a business-oriented personality who's good at helping build up the shares of the club rather than actually having a long-term and long-term football vision which he intends to stick to.
Yeah, that's pretty much right. What I felt. I mean, the not sole responsibility for Jose Mourinho, but of course he has to take some blame. It's complicated because exactly, yeah. You pointed out right that I was also upset during the summer transfer window. I mean, we pick up Sanchez over the previous winter, and then after that, I don't think we had any proper good signings. And then all you have is a club trying to be kept together. And all in all, I mean, Woodward has done great for the club in terms of money-wise. I mean, if you look at the money, being at that sort of success level doesn't correlate to what I think is the business level of things, because they're like one, if not the biggest sports team in the world at this point in time, even though that their success rate doesn't correlate. I think number 2 is like Real Madrid or Barcelona or something like that, and then after that is the Red Sox in America, and it just boggles my mind because I mean you would think that the biggest winning team would be the biggest commercial selling team as well. So it goes to show what Woodward has done for the club. However, I don't really think they do need a director of football or technical director or whatever that post is called, to drive that
Sporting director.
Yep. Yeah, to drive that vision of the club in that direction. And I think Solskjaer has actually, like, he knows what the vision is. He pushed for it initially, and then he realized that I think the players couldn't keep up, or some of the players just don't fit into that idea. So I think it's really important. I mean, there was a comment or a news article saying that they will use Mike Fallon as the technical director, but it doesn't make sense either because he is good. He's a good coach doesn't mean that he can find good players. I mean, he can motivate that group, right? Get that group to do the right thing. But as shown in whatever, I can't remember which Australia team he was with, he couldn't find and scout the right people at that. So different positions work differently. And I think that just bringing someone with that established skill set back or into the club is the most important thing right now going forward, along with a massive, well, not really, that doesn't have to be massive, but bringing in a good proper players into the proper positions that we're needing. I mean, a right wing, getting rid of Sanchez on that wage. Even if David De Gea leaves this end of this season, I feel that, I mean, which club can say that they have 2 number ones of each national team in their keepers? I mean, with Romero and David De Gea. So, I mean, the team isn't bad. It's just that some parts of the team are so bad that the good parts can't cover it up, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I would say. But coming back to the point that why Jose Mourinho wasn't sacked in the earlier season, I guess the breakout with Paul Pogba took place in this season. Am I right?
No, I agree to that, but I'm saying Ed Woodward offered him the contract that time, but he stopped offering players in the summer transfer window itself.
Yeah.
Forget his problem with Pogba. I'm saying I don't understand Ed Woodward logic.
Yeah, so it was more like, okay, you got us to second place with these players, so maybe you could continue doing that, or maybe you could improve on that.
Doing what? Continue reaching second place? That doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense, but maybe he was just saying, okay, maybe these players aren't that bad and maybe we can do something better with it. And then the fallout with Pogba happened and he was like, okay, now we have to choose between Pogba and Mourinho. And obviously they went with Pogba, and I don't see the logic behind it, because for me it's foolish to side with Pogba over Mourinho, but especially if you plan to win the league, and yeah, he's the manager who will get you to rebuild the squad and stuff. So yeah, but it is interesting, and now Ole just confirmed that Pogba will be staying in Manchester United for the next season. So that pretty much ends the speculation that he's leaving. But in football, you never know. Even Neymar was staying according to PK, but he also left, and same is the case with other footballers as well. But yeah,
I don't think so. Ole has a say in actually Pogba staying. I think this is some sort of a tactic. I think if there's a formidable offer that comes for Pogba, I think he could go.
it's more like Pogba leaving himself rather than Manchester United selling him. So
correct. So
yeah.
I was reading, I was listening to comments from Julien Larange, who's a French journalist,
Yeah.
a pretty well-known and renowned French journalist.
Yeah.
He did mention that there is serious interest from Pogba's camp to move to Real Madrid, and Real Madrid has seriously considering it. But I'm not sure. Whether I think if it does break down, it will be because of the financial terms. Because I don't think so. Manchester United would sell him for less than what they bought him for, and most probably will try to add 20 to 30 million pounds over it, which will not. I don't think so. Which we will do. Which Real Madrid would do.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Sorry, Sean. I'll just keep you aside for a second. I'm reading a book on Real Madrid, which says that Real Madrid is a club which functions with values, and their business model is totally based on values and stuff. And they always go for players who represent club values like professionalism and very like class plays, and it doesn't matter that how good they are, but they also should carry a certain personality, and that's the reason why likes of Ronaldinho weren't signed by Real Madrid. And now I don't see Pogba fitting into that scenario, and even Neymar for that instance. And would it make any sense to bend the rules for certain players, and then when it wouldn't work out, then it's all like you've already seen how things went with Manchester United when Pogba was there, and they had a problem with the dressing room issues and with the coach and stuff. Do Real Madrid really need that kind of a situation in their dressing room now?
I don't think he's a priority signing. Also, I would if I had a choice, I would pick up Eriksen over Pogba, because Eriksen is stylistically more similar to Modric, has lesser, I would say, ego and other stuff, but at the same time will cost also less. It depends also on terms of how Perez sees it. Obviously, Pogba has great market value, or rather marketability value, and add to that. If you look at what helped Zidane become successful, it has not been youth players or developing players or anything like that. It's always been players who are there. So maybe from that point of view, he may prefer Pogba, but still, I don't see us buying for more than. I don't see us spending 120, 140 million for him. So it's either going to be the same price that Manchester United bought him for, if you really want him, which I still think is unlikely, or we won't just go for him at all.
Yeah. Also, I think they will ask for Tony Kroos or someone else in exchange. They won't just.
Oh no, I'm saying if you're buying him, we'll buy him just for that price. No player exchange, nothing. Just that price, you get the player you want.
That's very unlikely to happen.
So that's why I don't see it happening.
Anyways, so we should move on, and coming to the Bundesliga title, and Dortmund have kind of lost it. And what was the scoreline last night?
They lost 4-2 to Schalke, with the second goal being a penalty. They scored the first goal. Dortmund scored the first goal. The second goal was a penalty.
Yeah.
Where after deliberation by VAR, it was deemed a handball. And Lucien Favre just was totally upset about it. Post that goal, I think Dortmund did not play that well. They kind of got rattled by it, and I think with that, officially the Bundesliga is practically over, and we're going to see. I think Bayern Munich win for the 6th time in a row or something like that.
Yeah, but you see, Bayern came back from 9 points or so. 10 points.
It shows the inexperience of the Dortmund squad. Their best players are Weigl, Sancho, Pulisic,
Royce.
Only Royce is the only player who I would say has some experience of winning the league and being there. But the core of their players are all under the 22, 23, 24 range. So yeah. So basically, they completely lost it after that penalty was given against them.
Yeah, and there are rumors saying that Jose Mourinho will go to Germany and maybe to Dortmund or maybe to Bayern Munich. And I don't see Jose going to Bayern because that's not a kind of a team which Jose would choose. Certainly not when they are winning the league and they are still like favorites for UCL every season and stuff. But yeah, it might happen. But Dortmund is the more likely project where I see Jose Mourinho going.
Dortmund has been doing very well under Favre. I don't think so. And also I don't think so. Dortmund can afford Mourinho. I'm not sure.
Speaking of Mourinho, I think I know. I think I remember why they gave the contract. It's because he won the Europa League. That's why they gave it. But yeah, it's funny that they didn't provide him funds to find him players. But just recalling that. But I think you're right. Dortmund have been doing pretty well. They've been doing pretty well under him, and I personally feel that probably maybe this game is just out of the anomaly. I mean, they did suffer 2 red cards, so I mean the scoreline is fair enough. I mean, yeah. I don't really follow Bundesliga as much compared to LaLiga because all I know is Dortmund and Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
And most of the time it's Bayern Munich anyway. So, but all in all, the comments about Mourinho maybe going to Bayern, I don't know. I've been shocked before with Bayern and their coach choices. I mean, Guardiola going was a bit of a surprise to me. I remember
Even Ancelotti.
Yeah. And but all in all, I don't think Mourinho would head to Bundesliga that soon. Maybe if the opportunity comes, but I feel that I think he'll let it go for a year. Maybe take a break. I don't know. I'm not him, but that's just my thoughts.
Rumors even link him to PSG, which I think will never happen in any circumstance.
A PSG move, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't really think it will happen. I mean, Tuchel, Tuchel. Yeah, I said Tuchel. Tuchel, I think he's doing an all right job. I mean, in a League One circumstance, an all right job. But all in all, I mean, they did lose the Coupe de France yesterday.
Yeah, to Rennes.
And that was pretty funny because I mean,
but they lost on penalties, so penalties is more like
hey,
50-50,
look,
yeah.
loss is still a loss.
It is, but yeah.
But it was pretty funny because like they did sell Ben Arfa. They benched him the whole year last year, and then Ben Arfa went to Rennes, in that whole drama. So it was pretty funny. But I don't think. I would see Mourinho going to China more likely than going to PSG.
Exactly.
I have that feeling. And on a very separate note, I don't think we wrote it down, but Ronaldo hit his 600 career goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big props. I mean, Zlatan hit 500 the other time last year. 600 for Ronaldo. It's crazy. Crazy numbers.
450 of them with Real Madrid and 118 with United.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You wanted to say something about Mourinho, Carlos?
No, I was just saying that maybe if Tuchel does not win anything next year with PSG, maybe it's possible. They might just change their route altogether and just go with a person who has Champions League history to try and win it. Maybe, I'm not sure.
Carlo Ancelotti?
I don't think so. Ancelotti will leave Napoli, and they've already been with Ancelotti previously, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think I actually think that even Bayern could get Jose Mourinho because Niko Kovac is considered a poor man's Jose Mourinho. Like, he's that kind of a player.
Yeah, but my point was like Jose Mourinho doesn't really go to that big of clubs unless and until they are struggling in the league and in the Champions League. Like,
you could say that they are struggling in the Champions League.
Yeah, but the league title is already in their pocket for like 6 or 7 seasons now. And
so that would be his challenge. He could do what Guardiola did not do with Bayern Munich.
Still, I don't see, like, he joined Real Madrid. They weren't winning the league titles and they didn't win the UCL, and they were getting knocked out in round of 16 and round of 8. And for the first time, he gained many other players like Sergio Ramos played their first semi-final ever. So then you see Chelsea was I doubt Chelsea even had fans before Jose Mourinho came, and like with all due respect to the local fans who have supported the club through thick and thin, but majority of the world didn't really recognize Chelsea as a big club. And then the Inter Milan comes. Inter Milan was okay, it was a big club, but still they were winning the league, yes, for like 2 or 3 seasons consecutively. But he came and he delivered them the treble, and yeah, but still, Inter Milan weren't really the biggest team in Italy at that time.
Yep.
They were still under the shade of
But at that point of it, I think Juventus was going through the
the scandal and the relegation and stuff. But yeah, even then, like AC Milan was still the big gun of Europe and big gun of Italy, of course. So I see Jose Mourinho choosing Dortmund over Bayern. That's more likely, but anything can happen.
Entire philosophy is like not pro Mourinho. Their entire structure of where they play is completely
that's
different.
Exactly the argument which I like, because Jose Mourinho recently said that you don't know my philosophy. I play differently with each team, and the bus parking tactic, which is a connotation attached to him, it was attached when he won the league with Real Madrid with 100 points and 121 goals. So I don't know. It might happen, it might not happen, but yeah, that's what it is. Moving on, Liverpool face Barcelona, and before we talk about that, we should talk about Barcelona winning the league and also the accomplishment of Valverde, who has just lost 3 league games in past 2 seasons, which is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, it's like almost 70 odd games where he's lost only three games. That's fantastic. Definitely, he's been playing great with Barcelona. I think he's molded his style of play into the Barcelona way really well, where he's given them solidity and some sort of defensive presence, while exploiting the just the sheer brilliance of Messi and Suarez up front. So I think overall he's done well. Not just him, I think overall Barcelona as a club has done well since the post-Neymar sale. Whatever they have done has worked well for them. Most of them, I would say. Dembele has been decent. Coutinho, not that great, but he's still been decent. Arthur is good. FDJ seems like a great signing. And they've been addressing slowly by slowly most of the issues. They just have only one major problem that they're going to face is the post-Messi era. They've not tried to address it at all. But it's not soon. It's still at least 3-4 years later. So I guess that's probably the next thing that they'll have in mind. But yeah, I felt overall both the board and Valverde has been a good combination. They've helped Barcelona a lot. They've been helped by obviously Real Madrid's lack of league competition, I would say. But Messi has been fantastic during the last 2 years. And so has I would say Valverde has adapted his style of approach and played to Barcelona style very, very well. He's merged it very well.
Yeah, also he's one of the longest serving coaches in La Liga. He's been there for like a lot of years, like maybe decades.
Itself, he was
more
there
than
for 10 years.
Yeah, more than decades. And
Not 10 years, at least 5-6 years. Yeah.
Yeah, but in La Liga he's been for a long time and he knows the league very well. And yep. Anything to add, Sean?
Everything Carlos said, and like honestly, it's I don't know how football will be after Messi goes. And additionally, I think Barcelona overall have done well, and I think the only minor problem, I mean, speaking of them, their league win. I mean, that's amazing, honestly. I mean, such a statistic, 70 plus games, only 3 losses. That's crazy. And just hoping that I think not hoping, sorry. The defense, I think that's what's shaky right now. I mean, PK is putting on the years and just going to this Liverpool tie with Barca. I'm just excited to watch it.
Yeah, also just coming back to the Messi point, and I think Barcelona can hire a coach like Ten Hag, who is kind of a
I was thinking that.
Yeah, subcategory of Johan Cruyff, Pep Guardiola, and then Ten Hag. He's from the same schools, from the same.
I think Ten Hag will be a Barcelona coach sometime.
Yeah, he is destined to be a Barcelona coach for sure. And maybe he can develop a system like he did with Ajax, and maybe they can cope without Messi. Like, it's a crime to say that without Ronaldo and Messi, teams would be better off or same, but sometimes you just have to admit that maybe with a strong team you are better off than with a 10 man and plus one strong player. Yep, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, talking about Ten Hag now, Ajax face Tottenham Hotspurs, and I really hope that this was a final match, but it wouldn't happen, and one of the underdogs will be eliminated, and that's very sad. So, keeping a stone on my heart, I would say, like, it will be a heartbreak if Ajax lose or Spurs lose, but still, I think Ajax deserve the title.
I think Ajax have, like I mentioned before, right? Because a lot of the players are going to leave this summer or soon. This is kind of the peak potential that these people will be playing together at. So I think they would go. That factor would give them a fearlessness to approach the tie, compared to say Spurs, who have built step by step, where they've lost and then learned to win. So I think Ajax will. I see Ajax going through this, and also this is history of this is very similar to how they won the last time Champions League in 1995. So I think I see similarities over there. I see the same side of I think that fearlessness they have will propel them to the final at least.
I really think I really hope that Ajax lift that Champions League trophy just to it is just going to be amazing to watch. I think they can go into this tie, knowing that Liverpool, Tottenham will always be there to bottle things, as well as Tottenham have been building over the years. Except maybe this past season they built themselves, didn't buy any players, but they've built themselves up. But I think I think they're starting to feel the loss of Kane with that injury. Son has stepped up. He did, and then they bottled it last night against which team again was it? They lost to West Ham.
Yep.
Yeah, West Ham. Yes, that's the game. It's like they're gifting fourth place off to like just any of the other teams. It's a crazy tie. Looking at the points between for that ladder. All right, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that first and second are so close, and then after it's third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and then that's their own conversation, and then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, maybe 10. 7, 8, 9, 10. That's their own conversation as well, and then from 17 all the way to 14th place as well. It could just switch drastically. That and which is the other league again? Was it Serie A? Was it the close one?
Serie A wasn't close.
One of the other leagues was
Bundesliga.
The rest of the league was super close as well. But yeah, I think
even LaLiga is quite tight right now for the Champions League, Champions League spot and for the relegation spot.
Yeah, but overall, I'm just excited to see one of those two teams guaranteed to be in the finals. It would make for interesting finals. Hopefully, Barcelona goes through. Not hopefully, Barcelona will go through. And onto that match. I think the match is going to be the match of the week. Yeah.
Yeah, Guillem Beleg, who is a Spanish journalist, just said that this Liverpool side can exploit Barcelona and expose them actually. And that is quite true, and that's pretty much what I feel about that tie. And I'll just come back to the Ajax game for a minute. And you see, this is why I say that team which doesn't have big names is a bit better off, because there is no player who thinks that, okay, I don't have to run extra 2 kilometers. There is no player who thinks, okay, I have a cushion, I am a big name, I have done my role. Like, everybody is always on their toes, and they are giving their fullest. And after a couple of years, these players will also feel like, okay, we are big players, we are playing for the big club, and maybe we can relax a bit and stuff. It is bound to happen, it is natural. But at this point, they are phenomenal players. They are giving their 100%, and that's what it takes, I guess, to win the Champions League. Because I saw a video which said that why Champions League will never be won by a club like Dortmund or Ajax ever again, and it's a big clubs competition now and all that stuff. It was like, okay, you draw against big teams, so you have no chance. And so yeah, and it's interesting that it was posted last year, and in the very next season Ajax are going to possibly win it. So yeah, it just explains that it's not really about the big clubs, but it's more about who is more competitive at the end of the day.
And that's exactly true. I mean, especially with the situation, the most, I think, still the most amazing sporting scenario of Leicester winning the Premier League. Honestly, I don't know why journalists can go and say, let's write off whatever other teams and let's just say it's only meant for the big clubs. I mean, with such a scenario such as Leicester, how can you not expect something else out of the football world and just say it's only for the big teams? I mean, Ajax have nothing to lose, yes, but at the same time, it's true. You work hard, you outplay the other team, and you outscore the other team. It gets to be that simple. So I don't see how a journalist can, whoever can just put out a situation like that. And if it's just to take anything out of Cristiano Ronaldo's book, it's just hard work to support whatever talent you have. Just put in the hard work.
Yeah, it's just about the edge, but not. I've always said that getting Cristiano in your team is more like edge to win you the Champions League, but it's not the only thing which you need for the Champions League.
Oh no, I was just talking about. I wasn't talking about the edge. I was just talking about Cristiano's hard work ethic.
Yeah,
just to put onto those players in
that's
Ajax.
true. That's true. So, also, for me, football is more like chess because you have to be very calculated. You have to be very smart, and you have to know the opponent's move, and you also have to outdo them in every way possible, and that's what Ajax has been doing for this season, and maybe some other team will do for the next season. Anything to add, Carlos?
No, I feel they'll reach the finals, and I hope I'm correct.
Yep. So, have you seen Suarez comments?
Yeah, I did. He mentioned that he's not likely to feel anything when he plays against
on
Liverpool.
the field.
I don't believe that at all.
He said he's grateful for Liverpool. He's grateful to Liverpool, but on the field,
I don't know whether he meant his comments literally or he's trying to say that he would be a professional. I believe that 100% he'll be a professional. He will play for Barcelona to win.
To be honest, I really don't see Suarez as that emotional of a person and stuff. Talking about Suarez, I just saw a picture of his son biting him while he was celebrating the league title, and that was kind of ironic.
Okay.
How do you see those comments, John? Like, as a United fan, he's talking about Liverpool, that he won't have any feelings while playing against them, so you'd be hoping for that to happen, or how do you see it?
I mean, it's not just as a Man United fan. I mean, as a Man United fan, I didn't really like Suarez just because he played for Liverpool, but seeing him go to Barca and then just trying to wipe away those Liverpool memories, I'm just like, Suarez is an amazing player. And for him to make a comment such as that, I mean, I think it would just come from any professional player playing against any of their former clubs. I mean, for him to say that, I think it means something. I don't think he literally meant that, my memories in Liverpool didn't mean anything. I think he just meant when I'm playing on the field, I'll just...
No. He just said that I'm very grateful to Liverpool and I cherish those memories, but on the field I don't feel anything.
Oh, yeah. That's just what I'm trying to put. Like when he's on the field, I mean, he plays for whatever club he's playing for. And I think it goes to show that even with his history of biting everyone, I think he's a more decent player compared to a player like Carlos Tevez.
Of course.
And honestly, I'll even put Neymar right next to him with the way Neymar behaves. He's not playing for the badge regardless of what the club is. Because look at him at PSG, the way he's just treating it. So
that's what happens when you rank players above clubs and they eventually see themselves as
no player is bigger than the club.
No matter which club you play for.
I don't care regardless, because
exactly,
if you're one player, you still need 10 others around
exactly.
you. It's a team game at the end of the day. And a player can be as big as a club. I mean, look at look at Cristiano Ronaldo, look at Lionel Messi. But if they didn't have a team supporting around them, right, they can't play soccer anyway. So, they can't play football anyway.
Yep.
So, yeah. I think at the end of the day, as a Man United fan and just a football fan in general, I think Suarez's comment is just pure professionalism. I like that from him. But it goes to show that, you go onto the field, you score. I mean, look at Van Persie scoring against Arsenal. He just says, it's just my job. I didn't celebrate. There was one in recent memory. I just suddenly can't think of what's the person's name now. They didn't score as well. They scored and didn't celebrate, professionalism on the field. Just I enjoy seeing
So
it.
we
And
should.
hopefully Suarez a score, to be honest, so I can just see the smiles of the Liverpool fans' faces.
And Coutinho?
Get wiped off. Oh, Coutinho is just an added insult to injury. If I'm being honest, let's. I mean, okay, you want Suarez to score? Yeah, let's just lump Coutinho into for him to score as well. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I think I enjoyed Coutinho leaving Liverpool. That was really he's a terrific player in Barca. I mean, he's not playing to his best level. I think best Liverpool level that he is at Barca, but maybe he's just being overshadowed by Suarez and Messi, and maybe we'll see more of him in the upcoming seasons. But to add insult to injury, getting both of them to score, man, would I love to see that.
Yeah. It's interesting that he left Liverpool and he is now hated by Liverpool fans, and he came to Barcelona and now he's hated by Barcelona fans.
I don't think he's hated by Liverpool fans. I think they're
Yeah,
okay with the.
Barca fans
Barca
boo
fans
him.
booed him.
They literally hate him that we paid you that much money. So do something. Yeah.
I wouldn't say hate so much so that we pay you that much money and you're not, correlating to the money.
Yeah,
But
it's not.
the problem with the transfer market is just that they re-correlated that skill level to a different price point now. I mean, look at Pogba, look at what's his other name? Look at Mbappe and Neymar in PSG. They are in PSG, but that skill level is just because it's PSG at League One. So yeah, I don't think it's so much. I think it's unreasonable.
Yeah, booing is a part of every club, and it's not out of hate, it's out of demand. Yeah.
It's our demand, but I don't
Yeah.
think as a football fan you should boo your own team's players.
Yeah.
That's just a personal choice only.
Yep. Even I don't prefer to do that. So, moving on. So Zidane just said that La Liga is more important and more difficult to win than Champions League, and that kind of reflects on his emphasis on continuity and consistency throughout the season. And for that he will need players, and I think that was the reason why he left Real Madrid in the first place, because his La Liga season was very poor. And now when you see him in this phase of the season, when he is taking a trial of players and stuff, it doesn't really seem he has any interest in the youngsters like Reguilon, Valverde, Llorente. Maybe Brahim will stay, because I read a report from Marca which said that he is in the plans of Zidane.
Valverde
But,
too. I think only
yeah.
Valverde and Brahim Diaz are the only youngsters that have been positively reported by Marca.
Yeah, but it will be a heartbreak to see if Reguilon and Llorente leave, even on loan.
Ceballos.
Ceballos especially. Because you see, this season, these are the guys who were the best players of Real Madrid alongside Benzema. And if you let go of Odriozola will obviously stay, because he's a great player. And Ashraf
Properly
Hakimi.
a youngster, I would say, he's more in the Zidane category of player.
Yeah. And Ashraf Hakimi will maybe spend a season or two more on loan. And
He's scheduled for loan anyhow next season.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And do you see Odegaard coming back this season? No, I don't see him.
No.
And now we have Rodrigo and Vinicius, and I just hope that Rodrigo and Vinicius will start together for Real Madrid. And
I think Vinicius will start. I think Zidane will use Vinicius as the new Asensio.
I think this front three of Vinicius, Rodrigo and Benzema can work very well. It's just a hypothesis at the moment, but yeah, if Bale was to leave, then this trio could work, I guess.
It's going to be. I don't want to read too much into what is happening right now because it's difficult to see what his perspective is. We'll know better in the summer transfer window. But if you just go by Zidane's core strengths, he needs a finished article player or a lot of finished article players, or close to finished article players and youngsters. He likes to play with those kind of players, and he'll have to seriously step up on his rotational game if he wants to get the right kind of players. Because he'll need a lot of them and then use them well so they're all satisfied. Basically, it's easy. No, basically what I mean is his best season was in the 16-17 season, where you had the likes of Pepe, James, Morata, all on the bench who all wanted to start games. So it's difficult to get players of that quality who are ready to sit on the bench. So he'll have to. First of all, it'll be difficult right now to get that many players into the club. So yeah, I'm not convinced on how this Zidane appointment will work, but I don't want to judge it right now. We'll see at the beginning of next season with the transfers and everything. And if he's going that route, collateral damage will definitely be young players, which I think is a bad way to do this because you already have the players. You might as well have a coach who can bring it together rather than now have a new coach sell all the players and then get new players and hope it works again.
No, you just brought to mind that I think that both Zidane, even with his success, and Solskjaer, I think both of them are just sitting in a sort of similar position where I think Real Madrid and Man United fans are just sitting and waiting for this summer transfer. Like, regardless of whatever's happening in the second half, I think we're all sitting to see what happens in this transfer window. I mean, with the wins and the losses for both clubs, it's been great. It's been a good journey, but I think we're all just waiting for the transfer window to see what happens. And I mean, yeah, if you want success immediately, I think a sacrifice is to lose the youth or lose some players in some regard.
Yeah. One thing I'd like to add over here is that Zidane is preparing a team for the new generation for the future, if I'm to say, and he's sacrificing the players for the future for that to happen.
He did,
and that doesn't really make any sense.
He had also other comments with regards to what Neymar said. Neymar said he would like to play with Hazard, and Zidane was like, "We'll see. Real Madrid make dreams come true." I don't think he's. I really don't think he's looking at the youngsters. He's looking at what he.
To be honest, Hazard is like what 27, 28.
Yes.
And Neymar is like 27, 28 also.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're buying two players who hardly have like 3 to 4 years at most in their prime, and you are sacrificing players like Vinicius and Rodrigo who have like 12 years of prime.
Yeah, I think Vinicius would still get playing time, but definitely I would prefer Ceballos. I would have Llorente, Ceballos over Casemiro and Pogba right now.
Exactly. And yeah, here's my theory. Again, I said it in the previous episodes as well, that I don't know why the younger players are undermined, because Ronaldo, Nazario de Lima, the Brazilian Ronaldo, he won the Ballon d'Or when he was a teenager. Mbappe is the world sensation at like only 20 years old. And so why can't the younger players be trusted? Why do we only need players who are at the age of 26, 27, 28? Why? There's no reason for that to happen.
I think it's a pressure to win, and probably it's like what you said, the after effects of the bad season that we had.
Yeah, but it's the best time to start building, because okay, you have been shown the reality check. It's the mirror that says, okay, these are the problems. And if you see why Real Madrid won the last few Champions League titles, 4 and 5 years, you check the squad. Carvajal, he was a youth player, he was a young player. Nacho, he was a youth player, young player. Casemiro, and yeah, also Lucas Vazquez. No matter how much Real Madrid fans dislike him at the moment, but he was a huge part.
Especially the first UCL.
Yeah, even in the last UCL when he was playing against Bayern as a left back.
Yep.
Right back. Yeah, and then you have players like Kovacic, and he was young at that time. Now he's a bit mature. So yeah, it's always like you have those backups who help you win the major titles as well. So if you are sidelining likes of Llorente, Valverde, Reguilon, Ceballos, and then you expect to build the team for the future, but you are signing players who are 27, 28 right now. It's not adding to anything. That's my point. So, I'll just go back for a moment and talk about Barcelona's Luis Suarez, who will probably face two former clubs,
Ajax and
Liverpool. Yeah. So that's just something what I wanted to add right now.
When you said that, I remember even Spurs, Vertonghen, and there's one more player who came.
Even
from Ajax.
Eriksen will be playing against his.
And one more player. I can't remember. It's a central midfielder. I just can't remember the name. I think not Sissoko, the other one. Dembele, I think. Yeah, Dembele also I think came from Ajax or something. So he'll have at least a couple of players who'll be facing their older teams in the other leg also.
Yeah, that is interesting. Anything you would like to add, Sean? Nothing at all. Okay.
I just want Barcelona to win.
He's waiting for the season to get over. He can't wait for.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the season to be over. I just want to see next season.
You know what?
I don't know why I keep coming back every week at this point.
I just tell you what you want. You want Liverpool to win the semi-final, go into the finals, and then maybe lose to Spurs or Ajax.
He doesn't want Liverpool to win the semi-final only. He wants Barcelona.
No, but that will be more epic. That losing two finals consecutively is more painful, you know. Yeah. And then you are getting 95 points, 96 points in the league, and then you're losing out on the league.
I want my heart to be settled early.
You see,
I don't need these problems that late into the league.
You see, you can use the argument that even in your best season, you are still trophyless, and which is in a worst season, we are still trophyless. So yeah, that's the level.
I think that the fact that they could reach 97 points and lose shows how hard it is to compete against Guardiola in a league scenario, and what he has actually done to that league right now.
Yeah,
I think it also goes to show that not just Guardiola, but I think EPL compared to the other leagues, how different, how intense it is compared to. We're the most commercial. It's the most commercial league as well. Yada yada yada. All those other arguments, but it goes to show that difference between when you go into the EPL and why some players who are good in other leagues, they come in and they're like, what? So yeah, it goes to show what Guardiola can do. I enjoyed Guardiola. I wasn't happy that he went to Man City, and some of his comments and all the other stuff. But I think it goes to show that Guardiola is a good coach overall. And yeah, it's amazing what he has done with the league. I hope to God he wins.
Yeah, but just a one-line answer to that. Guardiola himself said that La Liga is the best league, even after moving to EPL, and he said that EPL is a bit overrated and stuff. So yeah. For me, La Liga is always the best. Football-wise, quality-wise, everything.
Overrated. Okay, fair enough. Most commercialized, also fair enough. But I'm just talking. I'm just talking in terms of
it's obviously one of the best leagues in the world, of course. But yeah.
But as in,
it's a debate for the after season. When the season will be over, we'll be talking about it all the time. Yeah. So we should end the podcast, as I guess we all have to go someday. So any last comments?
No, I hope for a banger of for semi-finals.
Yeah, sure you will have.
Same thing. I hope for a banger of semi-finals. Obviously, I hope Liverpool lose, but that match, the Ajax Tottenham match, I hope for a good match, good semi-finals. I'm excited for it, and hopefully it'll be a solid finals as well, and just a good footballing week. Anything upcoming this week?
UCL.
Just UCL, and hopefully Champions League. No, not hopefully. I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah. So, anything to add, Carlos? Something?
No, thank you.
Right. So thank you for listening to the podcast. Keep listening and send in your questions, and we will answer them for free as for now, because it's the initial phase. And keep watching football, keep listening, and see you next week. Adios.